Good evening, magical friends. Look who I have with me tonight.
You have the great Poof.
This is the magical Poof, our resident black magical kitty.
Do you know how surprised I am to hear how many people name their cats Fluff, Poof, Fluffy?
Well, you know what's amazing is
Kitty?
she got her. She's like, you're talking about me. I can't do it. The reason we named her, or I named her Poof.
Yeah.
First of all, did you know that I didn't name her Poof just because she was poofy? It was two things at once.
I thought it was like because she was a Poof doll.
She was, but then at the same time, you know how there's double meanings to everything. So she's like the wizard's cat in our house, right?
Yeah.
And she is like when a magic trick goes poof and someone disappears.
Oh.
So Poof.
And then on top of that, I spell it P-O-U-F.
You spelled it because I think she was French in a past life, so you spelled it that way. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Psychic Couple Reacts. I'm Riz the Wiz, Trance Channel Psychic Medium.
And I'm Lady O. Welcome to
The show.
And we have enjoyed every inch of December, and we just had a blast putting this show on because this is brand new.
Yeah.
We've never done this before. And it was like a brainchild that just came to us one day. Is that the right way of saying it?
It was a no-brainer brainchild.
Yeah. And one day we were just like, these topics and conversations that we have all the time, we should actually talk about it publicly so people can hear all the different things that we discuss with people privately and go through videos of paranormal activities and, you know, and that ranges.
Well, because this is the
ranges.
classic case. People say, what's your podcast about? I go, it's art imitating life, because our life for the last 2 decades to decade and a half has been in the paranormal world. Me as a trance channel doing circle of light channelings, channeling spirit guide messages for countless people. We've been on so many different retreats around the world in different sacred sites, from the pyramids to India to stone circles in Ireland. We have basically been living the ancient alien's life in our own life. So we thought, why not bring another element, which is when we would cozy up at night with a candle and watch our paranormal shows.
Yeah. And the thing is, one of the main reasons we decided to do it is because nobody else was really breaking it down and talking about the paranormal quite like we were. So when the shows would come on or the experts would come on, they would say really fascinating things, but they didn't take it far enough. They didn't go to the depths that we like to go to and explain it and get into it and really understand how much we know about the paranormal. And being that Riz is trance channeled umpteen times over the last over a decade, I got to tell you, I've learned a lot about the other side. I've learned a lot about metaphysics and energy frequencies and...
Well, everything is energy, right? You teach that, and everything is energy. You being an empath, you know that emotional energy leaves psychic imprints no matter where you go, guys. So this is about, not only is our show about the paranormal, but understanding that our slogan is that the paranormal is actually the normal, and that the supernatural is actually the natural, meaning...
I love that
That which you consider the spirit world, that is the world. We are all one in it. It's just this is an aspect that is not seen by most people with their bare naked eye. It's more of a third eye experience, which is your intuitive self. And that's what we get into here.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some of our favorite shows? We've gone over Paranormal Night Shift a few episodes back.
Night Shift.
You guys haven't seen that, check it out. If you're just joining us.
Also the EMT, like the emergency responses from, you know, police officers and nurses,
some of that's on this show that you picked, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Those are like, those have really been captivating my attention because a lot of these EMT workers and nurses and doctors and police officers, firemen, you know, their mindset is not on the paranormal.
They're not. It's not in the handbook.
No,
but it's our goal
and they
to
talk
get some
about that.
Yeah,
they're like, no one taught me how to talk about this. Nobody taught me how to look at this and respond to it and how to deal with it. And tonight's show is exactly that. This person does not have a clue what to do, and it's terrifying. So
you want to talk about what this episode is called? This is on a show called Paranormal 911. So these are 911 kind of first responders to disturbances that are happening. Sometimes people think it's an accident or a crime, and they go to the scene, and it's very different than what they thought. They never thought this was going to happen. And so they share their stories. What I love about this show is that these are the actual people, the actual officers and technicians who were there. And what you can see from when they tell their story is the authenticity, the honesty in it. And I'm a big fan of when they're not using just actors. Like you can use actors for the montages.
Which, by the way, they do such a good job.
Yeah, like high five to these actors because they're phenomenal. So walk us through what this episode is about. We've watched it and we want to share it with you and tell you what some of our insights into it is. So grab your popcorn, your candle, your crystal, and let's drop it down, turn the lights down, and let's cozy up and watch this. Why don't you tell us what it's about?
So this episode is about an EMT worker that shows up to the house to tend to a man who has technically passed away.
And he has a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate order, that he basically, if he dies, that no paramedic should resuscitate him. So this is what happens when this call is followed up on.
Here we go.
She said cruise in Europe this summer. She knows you don't like cruises. She doesn't listen to anything anybody says. I just stand there with my mouth open and she keeps talking. You can't choose your sisters. I got your tea for you, honey.
Oh, so she's talking to her husband in the other room.
What a moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, my husband isn't breathing.
What's your location, ma'am?
He's only been home for 2 days. He's not ready to go.
Ma'am, I need to know.
1718 East Hill Avenue. Oh, God, he's dying. He can't die.
Please remain calm. Emergency response is on the way.
No.
Dispatch to car 17, come in.
Copy that, Medic 1.
Paramedic Caredwin Alexander and her partner respond to an urgent 911
Caredwin is her
call.
name.
An
That's so
elderly
magical,
man in
that
home
name.
hospice care.
Doesn't this sound like
has
Celtic
stopped breathing.
Celtic god?
Yeah.
So
I've never
every
heard that
second
before.
counts.
Anything else
Caredwin.
That's a negative.
10-4, we're on our way.
I'm so grateful for these
When
people.
we get a call that the patient is not breathing, we just go. That is a lights and sirens call.
The paramedics have little information to go on, so they need to be prepared for anything.
We didn't know anything about this particular patient. That's not unusual because people panic when they talk to dispatch.
Right.
But Alexander never
We're going,
panics.
guys. We're gonna have to do a brief on
To her, being prepared and clear-headed is essential for her to save lives.
People in
Dropped
first
in,
response are all
locked
control
in,
freaks.
open,
We all want to be in control of
flexible.
things. Always having a plan is vital to my mental health and well-being.
First
So
responders.
if a thing
I think of
happens,
9/11
you
when
want
I
to
hear the word
have a
first
plan in
responders.
your
I know.
mind.
We
of
definitely
what
have to do a show on 9/11.
The paramedics finally arrive with no time to spare.
We pull up with lights and sirens because 4 minutes without breathing, you're dead.
4 minutes without breathing, you're dead.
Oh my God. Please don't leave.
I'm walking up the steps and I have that feeling I would have in an unsafe scene. And I can't see anything that is making this scene unsafe. Just a nice, elderly, tennis shoe wearing old New England
This is
lady.
the proof of our sixth sense.
A do not resuscitate order? All right. Where's the DNR?
This do not resuscitate order is a legal document signed by the patient, declaring that if he is found in a life-threatening state, he is not to be revived.
So this is a man and he is
This is a
dying
deep
of
belief
cancer.
people have
He's got no pulse in his throat.
in the natural
no
order of things
chest
is what they
rise.
believe, right? They believe that the natural order of things is that. And once I'm out, I'm out. They also if this guy's been suffering for a long time,
Yeah.
he's just decided, I don't want to be brought back into a body that's ailing and failing.
That's what happened to my dad. He decided to do that.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. So when his cancer came back for the second round, he said, DNR, nobody resuscitate me.
Right.
So that's what happened.
Okay. So now she shows up. Her senses are already open.
Yeah. She senses something's off.
Yeah.
This patient does not want to be resuscitated.
But the patient's wife is distressed and
trying
cannot
to
find
find
the DNR paperwork.
That puts me in a very hard situation.
Without the DNR forms, Alexander is legally obligated to begin life-saving measures.
Where is it? I don't know. Go have a look. I don't know.
You don't want CPR done on you if you can help it. CPR is brutal.
Where's
They
the
never tell
form?
you that. They never tell you
No,
how
I
brutal
never
it
knew
is.
that.
You can bring people back, but not necessarily all the way back. So you might see brain damage. They might never regain consciousness, and then they're in the hospital, they're intubated. That's why DNRs exist.
Can you
Find the
imagine
form.
how nervous she is?
Until she sees that document,
Starting
she
to
has to try to resuscitate him.
Don't you f***ing touch me.
Did you hear that?
I hear, don't you f***ing touch me. Aggressive in that tone with those words. I felt like somebody standing there.
Oh my God.
I am having to work through this in my head, and you just do the job.
That's right.
You just do the job.
So that man
She's
doesn't
amazing.
even realize.
But resolute to
I mean, he
perform her
knows he's
duty,
dead.
Yes.
Alexander ignores the mysterious voice and continues her efforts to save her patient,
Papers.
while his wife frantically searches for the document that will allow her husband to die in peace.
Please, don't hurt him. I need the DNR.
Why would the wife call 911?
He had only been discharged into hospice care about 2 days ago, and she panicked.
Can we pause it there?
Find the form.
Wow.
All right, let's just break down what's happening in this moment. The air probably feels as electrified, like electric and thick as pea soup, as they say.
Right.
She is trained to become very open and aware, again, flexible on her feet. She has to be spontaneous. She has to respond to circumstances and situations with a clear mind. So she's very open psychically, I feel, because she has to feel, especially what if it's a crime scene or something? She has to figure out where's everybody at?
Yeah. So her senses have to be very heightened going into a scene of a crime or into a scene of just a natural, death.
Do you think that
She
she's?
has to be able to ascertain that really quickly.
Do you think she's kind of an unaware, unawakened empath?
Definitely. But I mean, I feel like all EMT workers and first responders are.
The one, yeah.
I mean, that's why you get
the
into
skilled
that
ones,
field.
right? Yeah.
I remember after my first or second child, I enrolled to the nursing program in the community college, and I was just in my early 20s.
I didn't know that.
I know. And then my goal was to become an EMT worker. So
I love on this podcast that we've been married so long, and I get to know new data.
But when I
Right.
found out what it entails with little kids, like people who have actually gone through it, it's just a tremendous amount of studying.
So the tension is like
Yeah.
on a level 11 or 12 out of 10. She is frantically searching for the papers. Can you
Yep.
imagine your elderly grandmother
Just
doing this while
just
their husband is getting...
so you
on the
can't even
chest.
see straight. Your heart's pounding in your own chest. You're terrified.
And
You're
you know there
shaking
is
and
one.
Sad. And you know there is one.
Yeah.
And you know this is what he wants.
So she just heard... What do you say? Get the F away from me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
Get the f*** away from me.
And I hear, get the f*** away from me. I'm
Grandpa is not
scared.
playing.
This is pee your pants scared.
Get away from me.
He touched her.
I have never been that afraid.
Oh my God.
Paramedic Coredwin Alexander has responded to a 911 call. An elderly man is dying, but she discovers that he has a do not resuscitate order.
Where is it? I don't know.
That can't be found by his distressed wife.
Starting compressions.
As she battles to save his life,
So he's just
she's
standing
shocked
there
by
next
a
to
dark,
his body.
He's watching her do this to his body.
Away from me.
The angry spirit of the dying man has materialized and is fighting her efforts to save him because he wants to die.
I have never been that afraid.
Wow.
I felt like somebody was pushing me back. It was a repelling force, like taking two magnets and pushing them together.
Right. Okay, so she said something very interesting. She said like two magnets pushing them together,
Yeah.
a repelling force.
Right.
Okay, so
Which she's probably really accurate, right?
it's very accurate. As a medium, I can tell you it does feel like that. When there is an entity that wants you to leave it alone. In this situation, I wouldn't even call him an entity. He is literally her loving husband that is out of his body. And you have to understand that we live in a world of energy and intention. This paramedic's intention and energy is to bring him back. That creates an opposing energy in the room. It's not simply that you can't do anything about it. Because someone might say, well, you know, the spirit guides come or the angels come and just take him out. Now you're on the other side. You should be in total bliss. But remember something, there is still your energy, your emotion, your free will. He probably wasn't expecting to die at that moment. Maybe he wanted to have a moment before he died where he could tell his wife he loved her. Maybe the body just gave out and he wasn't prepared for it. So that places him in another emotional energy. So a lot is happening in this room of emotional energy, right?
Yeah, and we all live in an electromagnetic field of energy. So everything is, you know, we do have that attraction and opposing coming towards and pushing away.
So it's like positive and, in a sense, positive, negative electrons.
So that's why when you walk into a haunted space, you walk into a space with, you know, bad energy, you feel that repellent.
And it's interesting. We're always using these terminologies of energy
because
because
it's not on the same frequency as probably the person walking in. Because let's say another person with the same frequency walks into a space that would be considered, you know, heavy or dark.
Yep.
Then they feel right at home.
Well, it's interesting. We call all this stuff the spiritual sciences because, you know, for example, you take a charger for this laptop and bring it to another country, you could, you know, short circuit that outlet because they are calibrated to a different frequency, a different voltage to be used.
Right.
So take those principles of physical electricity, which is energy. Energy is also electrical, right? And now imagine that. Whoa. You hear that? Do you guys hear that? There's some helicopter flying overhead. Okay. I thought it was something from the spirit world giving us a message. It's like, hold on, something's coming through. So going back to that principle of clashing frequencies and energies. So I think that this is all this emotion going on in that room. Now he pushes her, guys. People say, how do spirits do that? That emotional intent, and you told this to me once, that it must be that emotional intent that forces its way through dimensions to physically touch you and push you.
Yeah, and I think if we spend a lot of quality time going into metaphysics, we'll figure it out in the quantum level. Exactly,
we intend to.
Exactly how energy is moved through force and inertia.
Oh, this is intense.
Okay.
Two theories as to why entities might actually be able to physically touch people is the idea
we just went over that.
Actually manipulating.
Okay, it's funny. She came in. She popped in and talked about it.
No! As the patient hovers between life and death, his spirit is getting more and more aggressive.
No! No!
This entity seems to have a lot of.
Why is she calling him the entity?
I know he's just.
He's not an entity.
And Alexander
was he an entity 30
is
seconds
in a battle.
before?
Yeah.
She must struggle to save this
He's
patient
himself, just
and
not in the
ignore
form he was in
angry
before.
Apparition until the form can be found.
I said form and they said form.
The kitchen drawer.
When suddenly, the entity gives her what she needs.
It's in the kitchen drawer.
My spirit guides have spoken to me like that at times.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. But I'm always demanding answers from my guides.
and it was the right form. It had the Star of Life in the corner. At that point, I could call the hospital.
Yep. DNR code 3A2 7B 29A. Confirmed. Okay.
And they're like, you know, you can cease resuscitation efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Y'all have a good day now.
Oh my God. This poor lady.
And all of a sudden, all that angry electricity in the room,
That gave me chills
it
right now.
evaporates.
With invasive life-saving measures finally ceased, it will be mere moments before Alexander's patient passes out of this life.
When somebody dies a natural death, it's a gradual process. The circulation starts shutting down.
That's
and
the physical
when their
process.
heart
That's not the soul
stops and
process.
When their breath stops, it's less of a sudden change and more of a sense of settling.
Yeah, because all the systems have to shut
From
down.
where she's coming from, she's describing it totally accurately.
Yeah.
There is
Medically,
this
of course.
profound moment of silence.
Wow.
Oh, bless these two.
I suppose you could call it peace. He wanted that stillness. We were coming into the scene with our equipment, our noise, we were going to break his ribs, because that's what happens. We were going to do all the things.
Oh my
and that
God.
is not what he wanted.
Oh my God.
I'm glad I was able to prevent something of a trauma for his wife. In this one case, I did help in the exact opposite way that I'm accustomed to.
That's funny.
And
Well, these types of things change you
he
forever.
just surrenders
For many
into
people,
his
after a
highest
near-death
self.
experience, it's a very beautiful
Okay.
thing when they're brought.
I love that. You know, and when we
I was
talk
having a
about
hard
this,
time
right?
processing.
She talks about processing it there.
Yeah, do you want to hear what
Yeah,
she
let's
has to
hear.
What just happened?
She's forever changed.
I've had 2 experiences in 15 years that I put in the drawer of weird stuff. And especially in the moment when you're doing your job and your logical brain is there, you have a hard time saying that is a real thing that happened.
Wow.
No! No! No!
Now, here's what's amazing. Okay, let's talk about this.
I could feel the release, actually.
Oh, yeah,
of
I
this
feel it just
being.
watching. Can you guys feel the release in that? Like just watching the
God,
show?
It was so intense. Woo!
So, the gentleman who passed,
Yes.
he has been in the physical body.
Yes.
And then he's suddenly outside of his physical body. Notice how quickly all of his faculties about the fact that he died
Yeah.
and the fact that he's standing by his body, he sees what's happening in the room, and he is almost automatically in the knowledge that he can affect what is happening.
Yeah.
Or he discovers he can affect what's
Yeah.
happening because his
his
emotions are so
desire.
strong.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
What do you
wonder
make of
how-
that?
I just wonder how many people have actually experienced this. You know? Like, I feel like this is more common than you think, that they've actually experienced maybe even trying to resuscitate and feeling the energy saying no
Yes.
to not resuscitate.
Yes.
You know, and you have to respect the wishes of the soul. And if that's what the soul wants, I mean, especially if there's an actual document, you know.
Think about how many people who didn't have that document, but in their hearts did not want to be resuscitated.
Right.
Okay, so there's
can
probably
imagine.
plenty of stories like this.
Yeah, because as soon as you cross over, you're like, most of the time people come back from the other side saying that they just had, you know, with the near-death experiences, that they had such a amazing time on the other side, and they
Yeah.
don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a flash on our side, but
But
there's
this-
no time.
This is a testament to understanding that you do have a kind of free will.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we have spirits that are haunting places.
Yeah.
because they aren't crossing over to completely to the other side. They are in between, or they are hanging around because of some deep emotional attachment to the physical place that they were done, that they died in, or that there was some unexpected tragic event that blindsided them.
Well, we want to mention also that people have been watching the show and giving us comments and letting us know, first of all, things that they've experienced. They've also been letting us know and sending us emails on future episodes and shows. We've been reading them all. So thank you very much. We have some great ideas now on top of the ones we have. And also, if you have any requests for more content, because we are going to start going off grid. We're going to start going into furthest regions of the paranormal. So we have
off the normal grid of the paranormal.
We have the ghosts, we have ghost hunting, we have haunted houses, we have, possession of objects. There's so many things that we've been covering, but then we're going to keep on going.
Interdimensional beings going into, which could include cryptids, Bigfoot, UFOs, and the UFO phenomenon. I would really like to get into the secret of Skinwalker Ranch with you if we can figure out how to do that and bring it in.
That has to be like a 6-part series.
We'll
or
do
something
that
because we're obsessed with that show. We've watched it.
Well, it's really one of the most paranormal places on earth. If you guys haven't seen it, start with season 1. Watch the secret of Skinwalker Ranch,
and it's very technically complex. That's why we have to figure out a way to do it that we can break it down, and because there's a lot of explaining that goes on per episode, so we have to break down
exploring.
There's so many things.
Exclaiming when we watch it. So there's a plethora of shows that we're going to go through. So we're glad that you guys joined us for Psychic Couple Reacts.
Yes.
This wraps up another episode.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to watching some more scary, spooky stuff with you guys.
Before we go, have you noticed, and we've also received a few comments, have you noticed people have said that some of these shows, which they would never ever watch, that are terrifying or scary to them, they're able to watch it with us. First of all, they've been watching us on other podcasts. They know where we're coming from.
Yep.
And they watch the show, and it stops being super scary and starts to be more understandable. And, explanations hopefully help people to find more peace in some of these things.
So if you feel safer watching these spooky shows with us,
that wasn't our intention when we did it. But if that's the result, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. And we will definitely see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.